Hello everybody, it's Mr. Mayor here, and today we're going to be thinking about another EYFS vocabulary session. Today we're going to be thinking about the story of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Our focus words this week are boastful, rotten, stubborn, polite, jolly, tender, trusting, proud, bashful, and fair. Have you ever heard any of these words before? If you have, when did you hear them? Perhaps you could pause the video now and talk to your adults at home about these words. You could even try to think of definitions to explain what the words mean by using other words. Then when you're ready, press play and we'll move on to think about the definitions together. Boastful. Someone who talks too proudly about what they have and do. Rotten. Someone who behaves in an unkind or mean way. Stubborn. Someone who will not change their mind or will not give up. Polite. Someone who has good manners and thinks about other people. Jolly. Someone who is happy and cheerful. So far we've had the words boastful, rotten, stubborn, polite and jolly. All of these words can be used to describe somebody's character. Which of these words would you like somebody to use if they were talking about you? Are there some of these words that have positive definitions and some that don't? Let's think about our final set of words for this week. Trusting. Someone who believes that other people are kind and are telling the truth. Tender. Someone who shows gentle and caring actions and feelings. Proud. Feeling pleased about something good that you have. You might also feel proud of someone else. Fair. Describes a person with light blonde or yellow hair. In the story of Snow White, however, it is used in an old-fashioned way to mean beautiful. Bashful. Describes someone who is shy and easily embarrassed. Did you get any of these definitions correct? Well done if you did. Now we're going to think about our focus words for the week with the story of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. As I'm reading this story, can you listen out for any of the focus words? And at the end, we're then going to think about how they were used. Once upon a time there lived a kind, polite prince with fair skin and blue eyes. He was so fair that he was named Snow White. His father died when he was a baby, and his mother married again. This king was very beautiful, but he was also very cruel. This wicked, rotten stepfather wanted to be the most beautiful man in the kingdom. He would often ask his magic mirror, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all?" And the magic mirror would say, you are, your majesty." But one day the mirror replied, "Snow White is the fairest of them all." The boastful king was very angry and jealous of Snow White. He ordered his huntsman to take Snow White into the forest and kill him. But when the huntsman reached the forest, he took pity on Snow White and instead set him free. When it was daylight, Snow White came across a tiny cottage and went inside. There was nobody there, but he found 7 plates on the table and 7 tiny beds in the bedroom. He cooked a delicious meal and cleaned the house, but grew tired and fell asleep on one of the tiny beds. At night, the 7 dwarfs who lived in the cottage came home and found Snow White sleeping on the bed. When he woke up, at first they were bashful, as he was so beautiful, but he told them his story, and the 7 dwarfs asked him to stay with them. When the dwarfs were away, Snow White would make delicious meals for them all to eat. The dwarfs loved him and cared for him. Every morning, when they left the house, they instructed him never to open the door to strangers. Meanwhile, in the palace, the wicked king asked again, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all?" The mirror replied, "Snow White is the fairest of them all. He lives with the 7 dwarfs in the woods." The wicked stepfather was so furious that he made a poisonous potion and dipped a shiny red apple into it. He disguised himself as an old peasant and went into the woods with the apple to trick Snow White. He offered Snow White the apple while he was collecting firewood because he was stubborn and determined to go out to help the dwarfs, even though it wasn't safe for him. Trusting Snow White took a bite of the apple and fell into a deep sleep. The wicked stepfather went back to the palace and asked the mirror, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all?" The mirror replied, "You are, your majesty," and he was very happy. When the 7 dwarfs came home to find Snow White lying on the floor, they were very upset. They cried all night and showed how tender they were to Snow White by carefully placing him in a special bed that they had made him. One day, proud Princess Charming was going past the cottage and decided to stop to rest. When she heard about Snow White's story, she was incredibly sad. She was so sad that she began to cry. The tears ran down her cheeks and dropped onto Snow White's forehead. Immediately, Snow White opened his eyes. He was alive again. The princess and the jolly 7 dwarfs were very happy. Princess Charming married Snow White and took him to her palace, and they all lived happily ever after. Was that story similar to versions that you've heard before? How was it the same, and how was it different? Thinking about the story of Snow White and the 7 dwarfs and our focus words for this week, we're now going to try to use some of these words in a different context, so we're going to use them in different sentences. I have 3 sentences to start us off, but one of the words is missing from each of the sentences. You are going to have the options to use tender, jolly, fair, proud, or rotten. And so we have 5 words to choose from, and each sentence uses a different word. My first sentence is, Louis is so when he laughs and tells jokes. So your job is to see if you can work out which of our words needs to complete this sentence. Louis is so when he laughs and tells jokes. Pause this video now and think about whether it should be tender, jolly, fair, proud, or rotten. Then when you're ready, press play and we'll look at the correct answer together. So what did you think of? Well done if you said it was jolly. Louis is so jolly when he laughs and tells jokes. How about our second sentence? She was as she held the baby. She was something as she held the baby. So again, you need to pause this video and think about whether she was tender, jolly, fair, proud, or rotten. Then when you're ready, press play and we'll look at the answer together. Remember, each sentence uses a different word, and we've already had jolly, so there are only 4 left to choose from. Let's see how you did. She was tender as she held the baby. Our final sentence on this page is, the villain was when he laughed at the people who got hurt. The villain was when he laughed at the people who got hurt. Pause the video now and see if you can work out which word you need to complete this sentence. Well done if you thought it was rotten. The villain was rotten when he laughed at the people who got hurt. We have 2 more sentences to complete here. We're still thinking about using the words tender, jolly, fair, proud, and rotten. And we've already used 3 of them, so it should be easier to find the correct word this time. I was when I read out my poem to the class. I was when I read out my poem to the class. Pause the video now and see if you can find the word that you need to complete this sentence. Well done if you said proud. I was proud when I read out my poem to the class. And then finally, there's 1 sentence left and there should just be 1 word left. Which word haven't we had yet? Well done if you said fair. The boy had fair hair. This week we've been thinking about the words boastful, rotten, stubborn, polite, jolly, tender, trusting, proud, bashful, and fair. I would like you to pause this video now and see if you can think about how these words were used in our story of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, and of different ways that you can use these words in your own sentences. And we've just had a go at doing that with the 5 sentences we completed. When you've had a go at using our focus words in your own sentences, you could also try writing some of them out, or at least writing parts of sentences with your adult to help you complete the rest of the sentence using these words. Whatever else you do today, have a brilliant day, and I'll talk to you again soon.